Hello everybody. I wanted to come to you and shoot this little video here today. If you've ever been out in the country and at a country diner, it's amazing what you can find out in there. At breakfast this morning, they got to talking about this thing called a freeze miser. And what this thing is designed to do is to not let your water freeze up on these frost-proof hydrants and your stock tanks. So we've done some research on it, and we're going to try it with our brood mares, a stock tank we have up there. We're going to try it, and we're going to use it over here with our yearlings or weanlings that we have. We've already got a float valve out there. We're going to go get one of these and rig it up. And you're supposed to be able to just turn your hydrant on and leave it on. Now, for all of those up in Wisconsin, Minnesota, we know it gets cold up there. The problem is we're in Missouri. We don't have a lot of super cold weather, although Friday night it's going to get down to 17, Saturday night it's going to get down to 13, Sunday night it's going to get down to 4, and Monday 5 below, which is a big deal here in Missouri. And whenever you've got stock, you know, you've got to make sure they got water. Water is one of the most important things that an animal needs, especially in the wintertime. And if you'll think about it, it's so cold. If you have water available for them to drink, it's almost like me and you drinking coffee, because that water is going to be 32 degrees and it's -4. It's going to taste pretty warm, and they need it. They need it to digest their food. They need it to create energy. So water is imperative. Now, how you rig this up, we're going to do this inside here, and then we're going to go up to the top of the hill and rig up our broodmare tank, and we're going to show you when we hook all this up. This is just, you know, our primary deal that we do here is train horses. But let me tell y'all something. If you've got a farm, there's a lot more to it than just sitting in this barn riding horses. So this is something that's come up that we're going to do, and I wanted to share it. Me and Shoei wanted to share it all with you. It might be something to help you. So what you do is you get you a float valve. That'll hang on the side of the stock tank. Take you a Y, and you screw that Y right into the top. Okay, keep screwing it. Screw that down in there and get it on there pretty tight. Now I've kind of got this part here aimed off toward, that's not toward the end. Let me unscrew that and try to get it where it'll, you got to watch whenever you screw this in, because you want this here kind of aimed out to the stock tank, okay? Now, I'm going to start over here and screw this down. And when I get it firm, I want it to come around about like that right there. Okay, because this here is going to be on the back side of the stock tank. I got my Y with the open end pointed out this way toward the tank. Then you take your water miser. Now, you would think, if you can see a little hole there, you would think the water is going to come out of there. It don't. This thing is designed when it gets below 36, 37, 36 degrees, there's a spring in there that opens up and lets water start flowing out of here. Okay? And that keeps the water circulating. This should keep your water thawed out in a hose as much as 150 feet. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and screw this right onto there. I'll get that on there firm. And whenever that gets on the tank, this here is going to come out, and when it gets so cold, the water is going to be dripping out here. You want to have this valve open, you're wanting this valve open, and then you'll hook your hose into here. And that way there'll be a little bit of gravity here where that water can come on out of there. So that's how you rig it up. we're gonna go up on top of the hill and we're gonna set this thing up in the stock tank and we're gonna see how everything goes. So we'll be right back and we'll come back here in just a minute. We've come up here and we've got everything hooked up. We had a hell of a hole in our hose. So I went and got one of these connectors. You take this screw off and put it over your hose and jab the hose in there. Screw it on, same way on the other side. No tools.
So it's a splice.
Tighten it up with hand, it's a splicer.
Cool.
That's the greatest thing in the world there ever was. Now, I've got everything hooked up. Now I've shut the water off.
Okay.
It's not cold enough for that to leak yet.
Okay.
But this water valve is on going to the miser. And we're gonna fill up this stock tank.
Okay.
We're gonna go to lunch. And we're gonna come back and see how everything's running. So now, I do want to tell you, these are designed to be ran with stock heaters to keep the water out here from thawing out, from freezing. But we don't have no electricity up here. So what I'm gonna do is just let this run, which will help keep the water thawed out around this. So
right. The tank itself, the warmer water coming out that's not frozen keeps the ice
trickle
down.
So you can come up here with your little sledgehammer or whatever and just bust that up and kick that out.
Gotcha.
You know, we're not gonna run no cords. We're not gonna do all that. We're just gonna make this here work. So anyway, we'll be back after lunch and get this all filled up and see what's happening. But
Yeah.
hello everybody. We're getting ready to rig up another one of these tanks here for our weanlings. And I'm just attaching my hose. Now,
Oops.
if I don't fall down scared my weanlings to death. Okay, like I said, this is well, okay, I screwed it the wrong way. See, anybody can do this. The temperature has dropped a bunch here, and
It's gotten really windy.
it's gotten very windy. Got to remove this. There it is. This is a tank that we've already had fixed up with a float on it. I've got to get this other hose off there so that we can get our Y and our freeze miser there. Now, what we're going to do is take and screw this Y right down in there. Well, that's going to be tough.
You may have to take that.
I think I'm going to have to take that darn float off. Nope. Maybe, yep. Cut. Now, we're going to screw this Y down in there. Well, I'm going to have to take it plumb off, Joy. Okay. We've got a water trough out here across from the barn for our weanlings. And we do things here by trial and error. So we're going to save you a little bit of work. We went to screw this down on there. Well, it won't turn because of the bracket. So what we have to do is come in here and get this bracket off so we can get that Y tied down in there, and I need a Phillips screwdriver. Is there one right there?
No.
Let me see that. It might be small enough to reach down in there. Yes, it is. So what you have to do is just take this one screw out that holds this hanger on there. And then take your Y and screw it on there. And have it where it'll be this here will be facing out into the tank. Like right there. That should work. Even though it's going to be offside, it's still going to be in the tank. Then all you got to do is take and put your screw back in your hanger. And these floats, when you've got plastic...
Are you sure you're doing that right?
No, Joy, I'm not sure. Whenever you've got these stock tanks like we do, there's a lip that goes over there. And nothing like a good woman to tell you you're doing it wrong. Because I just want to get the damn thing put back together.
Well, it would have been cockeyed.
It'd been cockeyed. Our float would not have been hanging level. There. Now, that's on there. Now what we got to do is but we're going to put our freeze miser on there. I'm going to put it on there right now. And that's how that's going to work. Now, on these little valves here, if you've got that up, that shuts the water off. You want to leave that open, and you want to leave this one open. Okay? So, now, we're going to go back out here and reattach this, and we're going to be done here in just a second. So, come on, let's go out here in the wind. The winds are coming in. It dropped a degree from lunch back here to the house. And we're only 2 miles from where we ate. Got this little lip here, and these screws are long-winded.
Just go ahead and attach your hose.
Well, give me just a second. Let me get these screws started. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use this.
Which is just an extender.
Yeah. Screw that on there. And one reason we're doing this is because we knew we'd screw up a time or two, and we thought we'd save you all from the heartache and grief of it. Now, Joy, go turn on our hydrant.
Okay, hydrant's on.
Hydrant is on. We've got a little leak right here.
You want to turn the hydrant back off?
No. Matter of fact, yes, I do. I But there's two reasons why I don't want it leaking. Number one, it's on city water, which means we're paying for that. Number two, this here is going to let water go through whenever it gets cold. Okay? So that means there's going to be water going in this tank all the time. Now, the chances of this thing overflowing is pretty good, but all them colts there behind us are going to have water. So it's a short-term deal. And when the weather warms back up, this here will quit, and it'll quit overflowing. Man, them things are long-winded. You just can't hardly screw them in fast. There you go. Now I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to try to find out why this thing is leaking. There's no reason for it. That's all good. Maybe I just didn't have it tight enough, Joy. You reckon?
Maybe.
There. Let's see what happens. All right, Joy. You'll turn it on. Let's see what we got. Just got a little drip, but honestly, I'm not going to worry about a little drip.
So it's leaking out of the top end here. Or it wouldn't be dripping.
Top end's tight. There. That stopped it. But anyway, that freeze meister's installed. We have another one we're going to do on a hose in the barn, and we're going to show you how we're going to do that too. So we'll be back in just a minute. Everybody, this is for a lot of you folks that have hoses in your barns. Now, as you can see, Joy, turn them around. I don't want this thing leaking in here and causing a big mud puddle here. We have a mare right there, going to have a colt here in a week or so. So I want to keep the inside of my barn dry. So I've thought about what I'm going to do, and here's what I'm going to do. We have our freeze miser hooked up to the Y. I'm going to screw this into it. Now, I have a shutoff here for when I drag this hose around and fill up the buckets in these 4 or 5 stalls here. So I'm going to shut this side off, this open side, and I'm going to turn on my water. Now, as you can tell, we have no leakage or nothing. Now, if you want to check, make sure you got water, you can just pop that right there. You see you got water. Now, when it gets cold below 37 degrees, this here's going to open up, and the water's going to come out. So I thought about what I'm going to do. These holes were cut back here by the previous owner of this farm to run hoses out of it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that and just stick it through that hose, and I'm going to loop my hose up here and let it rest on that nail. And that way, when that kicks on, the water's actually going to be running outside. So, and leave your hydrant on. And this has been a major deal for us here. In the wintertime, hoses freezing up. It's just a royal pain trying to get water to these horses. So that's why we bought this stuff. We're anxious to see how it works. We're going to leave the water miser out there. And whenever the temperature drops, and it's already dropped a bunch, I think we're down to about 39. So we're going to feed horses. We've got a load of hay coming in, and we're going to be doing some stuff. So hopefully before the end of the day, the temperature drops down and these things kick on and you'll be able to see them. So anyway, stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Good morning, everybody. It's It's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's 30 degrees. And I just wanted to check my water miser here on our hose that we use to water these horses back here in the back. As you can all see, the hydrant's been on all night long. I ran this hose up and through a hose. I just stuck the water miser through that hole. Now, I'm just gonna pull this out and take a look, and there it is. Water's still running, as you can all see. So that lets you know how much water comes out of that. So you need to rig you up a deal where that goes outside or in a big trough or something. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get these horses watered, but I just wanted you to see that it does work. All right, see y'all in a little bit.